Well, hello everyone. I'm Sibyl Star, and I am here to give the astrology forecast for the Libra full moon, which occurs on April 12th, 13th. It's actually on the 12th here in Pacific time at 5:23 p.m. But in other parts of the world, especially in Europe and many other countries, it's on the 13th. So we know at the moon represents our emotional body. And so when the moon is full, it really impacts our emotional body. They say that the moon herself has a core of water, and we know how she impacts the tides. It is said that she actually controls the water levels all through Mother Earth, water that are, below the surface as well as above. And as I said, it impacts our emotional state and some people in service positions often, if things get a little crazy, they say, well, is it a full moon? Because things do get a little crazy at the full moon. We know that the earth rises 6 inches to meet the moon at the full moon. Animals feel it, everything on earth feels it. And we can also it's also a time of illumination, and it is a time where it's really good to be with other people. It is a time for gathering and connecting. Okay, and it is the first full moon after the solar eclipse. And the solar eclipse was about entering new frontiers of consciousness. Well, many things. When the end falls into the beginning was a very powerful solar eclipse. All right, so I am going to show you the the chart of the full moon. Okay, let me get it here. All right. All right, so here is the chart of the full moon. And so what we have here is that we have the moon is at 23 degrees of Libra, 20 minutes, exactly opposite the sun at 23 degrees of Aries, 20 minutes. And as you see how tightly conjunct Chiron it is. Chiron's at 23 degrees of Aries, and Eris is also right in there at 25 degrees of Aries. Okay. And so this, like I said, is a really powerful full moon. And one of the reasons is because it's also in a focal point with a yod. Okay. And so we've got over here, we've got uh, Venus and Saturn are 150 degrees from this full moon, and the moon is also 150 degrees from Uranus at 25 degrees of Taurus, and then Uranus is sextile Saturn and Venus. So that is called a yod or a finger of fate, and the release point is the sun. Okay, so the release point is also very powerful. All right. What else have we got here? And yads don't really do a lot unless they're activated. Like I said, is there some very significant information here is what this is saying. Pay attention to this new moon, this full moon, I mean. All right. The moon is trine Jupiter. Oh, yes. And we also have a T square of the sun. Well, all of these Aries here, the sun, Chiron, and Eris opposite the moon, and they're square Mars. Okay. All right. The moon is also conjunct the part of Earth, as we can see here. But anyway, this is a T square, and this is a challenge. Whenever a T square is a challenge, the moon is square Mars, and Mars is square the sun, and then there is opposite. All right. Mars is also in a trine to all of these Pisces points. Now, this is the part of fortune, and it's only calculated here where I am. It's going to be in a different place where someone else is. Okay. So we've got the um Venus, Saturn, North Node, and Mercury. Mars is in a trine to all of those. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Think that is it. All right, but that's a lot. All right, so let us talk about what all of this actually. Oh, one more thing. Yes. Neptune is at 0 degrees Aries, and this is really important. Neptune went into Aries on March 30th, and so this will be actually be the first. It was heading into Aries at the solar eclipse. It happened the day after. So we did talk about it then, but we're going to also talk about it today because this is a very powerful event that is happening now. All right, so let's talk about what all of this means. All right, so first we're going to start with the sun in Aries because it's always because the a full moon has no light of her own. She only reflects the light of the sun. So it's always a balance or integration of the two opposing signs. And so Aries is archetype is Aries is the first sign. It is the I am consciousness claiming I have a right to exist, where it steps out of the world of the formless unconscious into the world of form and self-awareness. Okay. Aries is an explorer of new frontiers. And I just saw this recently and I really liked it. It says that Aries is the torchbearer of light as the first sign. As it steps out of the unconscious into the light, it is the torchbearer of that light as not only the first sign, but the first fire sign. All right. Aries has to do with strong life force energy for new beginnings and growth. Aries energy is courageous and and bold, and one must have courage. Or let's put it this way: to have courage, one must face their own fear, to be afraid, but do it anyway. It is a warrior and a protector. It has to do with personal sovereignty, boundaries, where we say yes, where we say no. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. It's about assertiveness. It's about our desire nature. Aries is very passionate. It has strong desires and strong will. And that's one of the I would say the teachings or goals of Aries is to learn how to align their will, how to use their will. It's teachings around how to have the use of one's will. Um, and when Aries and Libra both are around, and we've got the Aries Libra opposition, it does bring in conflict because it is that balance between self and other. Like I say, where we say yes, where we say no. And Aries requires a challenge to grow. I've had many Aries in my life, and my experience is that quite often, if there isn't a challenge, they'll create one because they get bored. Okay. Anyway, the shadow of Aries is selfishness. It's all about me, aggression, and being willful without consideration of others. And that's where Libra comes in, the Aries Libra polarity. The opposite sign is the balance between self and other. And it's about the healing of polarity consciousness through the integration of opposites. And so the Libra archetype is about our connection with others. It's very relationship oriented. Often they say often that Libra doesn't know who they are if they don't have someone in their life to mirror it back to them. Okay. It's about art, beauty, and aesthetics. It is the sign of peace because it's the sign of balance. And I love the thing is Libra is seeking balance. We're not going to say Libra is balance, but it is seeking balance. But it is the sign of peace as we align with our inner truth. That's how we find that inner peace is through our inner truth. It's ruled by Venus, and Venus really wants harmony, serenity, and inner peace. And back to the seeking balance, I love I've shared this before. There in the Aleister Crowley deck, the Thoth deck, the Libra card is called Adjustment, and the image is the goddess Themis standing on the tip of a sword. Now, the goddess Themis is the goddess of justice. She holds the scale. She's the one in front of the Supreme Court. And anyway, but on this image, she's standing on the tip of a sword because that is our place of balance. And so it's like, it's very easy. It requires adjustment to continually bring ourselves back into balance, being shown where we're out. Libra can have tremendous empathy. They can feel another's pain. It can be very kind. And it's also a diplomatic sign, tact and diplomacy. And especially, Aries can be very aggressive. The shadow side is aggression and war. And Libra can come in with diplomatic solutions. The goddess Athena is also associated with the sign Libra because she knew how to win without war. She knew strategy and diplomacy, and that's what Libra is known for. Uh, Libra, the shadow of Libra can be conflict avoidant, but the thing is, the place of the greatest disharmony is when there is conflict that is not being dealt with. Okay. And so it's really important to deal with things as they come up. Another shadow of Libra is codependency. Like I said, Libra sometimes doesn't know who they are if they don't have the mirror of someone else or someone else to mirror it back to them. So it's important to be in a relationship with someone because you want to be, not because you feel like you need to be. Okay. It's also known as the cult of the nice. Libra can be very people pleasing in their conflict avoidance state. All right. Now, this moon is conjunct the fixed star Arcturus, which is very beautiful star nation. Um, and the beings from Arcturus are fifth to ninth dimensional beings. It is said they live in a state of unity consciousness and unconditional love. Edgar Casey says they are the most advanced civilization in the Milky Way. It is said they have mastered their emotions and live in a state of inner peace. They teach us that we must be the peace we want to see in the world, and we do that by mastering our emotions. Okay. And, Libra really does seek inner peace. Okay. All right. And so, but the thing is, to get to that place of inner peace, sometimes we have to deal with unresolved conflict. So anyway, back to the Arcturians. And so as we align with the light of our inner truth, we can be at peace, even in the midst of chaos. That inner light can guide our way. And I feel like we are in quite a storm right now. And so I'm not surprised the Arcturians are here with their teachings. And the Arcturians say they will work with anyone who wants to evolve their consciousness as they live in oneness of they live in the oneness of source, the oneness with all beings, and they want us to understand and remember that we are source energy. And as we do, we will evolve our consciousness for the greater reality. They also want us to know that fear is a 3D construct and does not exist in other fifth dimensional realms. That is a big teaching of theirs. That fear is part of the fear control matrix that we have been living in the 3D reality. But as we start shifting into the fifth dimensional realities, we need to release all of the fear. And I feel like that is a big piece of what is coming up right now. All right. So the moon is like I said, is the moon in Libra is at a focal point of a yod with Venus and Saturn, as well as Uranus in Taurus. It is a finger of fate or a finger of God, is really pointing to it, saying this is something very important. Pay attention to this. And so Venus in Pisces is one of the components, and which is the ruler of this Libra moon. There's more modern ways to say it, but I think that still really says it best. There's a big connection. Anyway, Venus in Pisces brings in unconditional love and where we are all one. And to remember that, okay, that's a big piece, I believe, of this energy of this full moon. It's also Venus is conjunct Saturn in Pisces, which is part of the yod, which to me is about healing what we would call original sin or the illusion that we are separate from source. This is the heart healing of an existential wounding that we are being given an opportunity to heal. And I want to share this quote from White Eagle. He says, Do not separate heaven and earth, but strive rather to draw humanity into closer relationship with heaven. Strive for increasing cooperation and interpenetration between the higher worlds and the earth. And so I feel like the higher worlds are here. The fifth dimension is here. It's just aligning our frequency with it while still living in this 3D reality. Okay. Another piece here that I think is really important is the relationship aspect, the mitakuye-oyasin of the Lakota, all my relations, which invokes the interconnectedness of all life, human, animal, plant, stone, magical beings, microbes, star nations. We're all connected. We're all one. We're all faces of source, of creator, of God, whatever we want to call that. And this is a time of really start really remembering this, okay? Because we have forgotten it, the veil of forgetfulness. What but that veil is being lifted. The veil of forgetfulness is being lifted. And as we do, it will help us heal the divisiveness in the field and understanding that it all begins with you. It's a choice between love and fear. It doesn't happen outside of ourselves. It happens within ourselves as a response. Now, the other planet is Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus, of course, brings change, but in Taurus, it's about being grounded and centered in your body, connected to Mother Earth. And I feel like it's about taking care of your body and nurturing all life on Mother Earth. And to remember that we came here for a mission, and to do that, we must be fully present in this lifetime. Many starseeds really want to go home while you came here on a mission. And that's why it's so important to stay present in your body, take care of your body. And it's also about when we can be the calm in the storm, it can actually calm the storm around us. It changes the field. Taurus is also ruled by Venus, really wants that inner serenity, that inner calm. And to know that whenever there's a crisis, the person who is calm is the one who actually is able to figure out what to do. And so it's really important to do that. But it's also energetically, that's the Uranian piece. It absolutely changes the field around you. Okay. All right. The moon is also trine Jupiter in Gemini, which can indicate an easy flow of emotion and connection with beneficial relationships, bringing a multitude of ideas. All right. Now, the sun. The sun is conjunct Andromeda Galaxy. But well, it'll be exact on April 16th. So it's a little out, but it's close enough. It's a really big, I give it a bigger orb. I feel like it's very powerful. And the Andromeda Galaxy is said to give birth, is the mother galaxy, and has been said that it gave birth to the Milky Way galaxy. And someday, millions of years from now, they will merge and create a whole new galaxy, is the belief. But it is said that those from the Andromeda Galaxy, and there are many starseeds here from the Andromeda Galaxy, many have Andromeda Galaxy imprinting and the imprinting of the mother. It is said that those from the Andromeda Galaxy are bringing a new paradigm of consciousness based on change and fluidity. The Andromedans teach us to base our reality in our own consciousness instead of the outer world, because the outer world is constantly changing. It's to really, the only true reality is what lives within the rest of us. The rest of this is a dream. The true reality is what lives within us. And this is the true reality, the true nature of reality. And the Andromedans are masters of change with the ability to rise above confusion. All right. Now, the sun is also conjunct Chiron in Aries, And we've been talking a lot about Chiron in Aries because its wounds around identity and the ego self are being triggered. You might find that you're really being triggered right now. And as I said, part of the ascension process is to release the fear, to be able to free ourselves from the fear and control matrix. We have to let go of the triggers or the unhealed wounds, the ties that are keeping us in that state. Okay. And so that's why a lot of stuff is coming up right now as everything is getting shook. The whole matrix is getting shook. Okay. But it says to also focus on healing your self-confidence, personal will, personal sovereignty, and fears of taking initiative or facing challenge. Okay. Challenges. All right. Now, we're going to talk now about that T square with Mars in Cancer. That's a really big one. The full moon is in a T square with Mars in Cancer. And of course, Mars is the ruler of the Aries sun. And it's, conjunct Chiron as well as Eris. And Eris is a feminine warrior and she's a disruptor, okay? Disruptor of the status quo. But Mars is a catalyst and also brings very disruptive energy. So this is very much about resolving conflicts that are coming up. And the best way to meet them is through a place of inner peace and clarity, not just an emotional reaction. And that's easier said than done. I'm going to talk more about that, but that really is the goal. Mars in Cancer is very safety and security oriented, so it may bring up fear because the world is getting shaken. There's so much happening, it's hard to even know what the real truth of any situation is. So the key is to really, hold that center as all of this stuff is coming up. There's also a lot, not only fear, but there is some hate in the field, and it doesn't feel very good. And I found this great quote, and it said, "Hate is not merely an emotion; it is a frequency, a distortion in the field of consciousness. It is the echo of a soul that has forgotten its source and fears underlies it." So what this means, we talked about the separation from source. We're in the process of healing the separation from source. But some of these really deep emotions, that's what they're underlying, is the fear and the feeling that separation, feeling like when we're scared, we feel like no one's got our back, that everything is falling apart and we can't control it. And so the key here is to not participate in this drama, the drama of fear, hate, and anger. Step back and disengage. Do whatever you can to find that place of inner peace. Here's a quote from Viktor Frankl, because it's really about response and it's about responding and not reacting. So he says, between the stimulus and the response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our responses lie our growth and our freedom. So we can choose to react or we can wait. Hold on, kind of hold your center, and then respond. Okay. There is a space. There is that split second. Sometimes you say things you shouldn't say or do, but you do them. And so stop and absolutely pick your battles. You don't have to fight everything. There may be places where you do need to stand in your truth, but be very careful about the ones that you actually choose. Not every battle is worth fighting. All right. We are in a huge storm of chaos and breakdown and the crumbling of the illusion in which we have been living. And as I shared with a group the other night, if you go, it's kind of like going out and trying to fight the storm. If you go out and try to fight the storm, you just become part of it. So it's hold your center. Find that place of inner calm and don't feed the fears. I mean, it's very easy to feed the fears, but we can stop that at any time and know that everything on some level is okay and everything is as it's supposed to be, even if we don't understand why. But to hold your center, okay? And so instead of adding fuel to the flame, hold your center from a place of peace and transform the energy. I think I shared last time, the prayer, of the beauty way. We can say it, there is peace above me, there is peace before me, there is peace behind me, there is peace below me, there is peace to the left of me and peace to the right of me. There is peace within me. And then just see that out into the field. And really, on the quantum field, it can really change your whole experience and the energy around you. All right. And to know that it's always a choice between love and fear, and to choose love. The heart's the only way. This Mars is also trine planets in Pisces, and the Venus, Saturn, North Node, and Mercury. And Mars is about taking action. And so it says flow like water around obstacles when you can. Like I said, pick your battles. You don't have to fight everything. Let some things go. Surrender and trust the process. Navigate the stormy waters with your inner guidance and trusting that. And align your ego or free will, your ego will or your egoic will or your free will choice with divine will or the soul plan. The world is changing and so are you. And when you can align yourself with your soul plan or divine will, things will go a lot more smoothly. All right. Venus, Saturn, North Node are conjunct all month in Pisces. And so this to me is a really beautiful energy. It's a path of personal growth and self-realization through love. You may have new insights about your relationship. Venus has been retrograde and she's going to go direct actually on April 12th. Okay. New insights about your relationship must resonate on a spiritual as well as emotional level. I think to be really being aware of that in your relationships, in the same resonant field. And Pisces, is the last sign. And so sometimes it's about endings. And so some relationships may have lost their life force. This asks us to live from the heart and authenticity of the self. And we may have experiences of where we become more aware that we're multidimensional beings. And there is a new awareness of existing in more than one dimension. All right. All right, Venus and Mercury have been retrograde. Mercury went direct on April 7th, Venus on April 12th. But they're both conjunct the star Markab in Pegasus. Saturn is as well. And so Pegasus is the magical winged horse that is a divine messenger. And so this activation of this very beautiful star within Pegasus can activate our intuitive inner knowing and our creativity. It's a very beautiful aspect. Another astrologer, Kaylin Castile, I really love what she said here. She says, Venus and Mercury complete their retrograde cycle aligned with Markab. This star brings into focus the physical expression of the soul. Markab holds spiritual knowledge of the metamorphosis of the physical body into a light body. Markab also activates the Merkaba, which is a grid of tetrahedrons around our earthly form, allowing for quantum leaps in our evolution. So there's also our light body is being activated. With this, these stars have been very active over the last several months. The North Node has been there. Neptune has been traveling over the stars of Pegasus. And now we have Saturn, Venus, and Mercury. Okay. And as I said, Mercury went direct in Pisces on April 7th. He's going to enter Aries on April 16th, where he will then conjunct Neptune. And so Mercury in Pisces is about back into the womb of all possibilities as we dream a new world into being. But it can also be very confusing as everything we believe to be true is shifting as we start to see the world and the cosmos from a different perspective. The veil of illusion is lifting. The point of the confusion is to become aware of the reality behind the illusion. We are experiencing new frontiers in consciousness and our role in the conscious co-creation of our reality. Follow your inner guidance, and especially if important decisions are to be made. And then when Mercury gets to Aries point and conjunct Neptune, a new beginning in the way we think and perceive the world and conscious co-creation. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is Neptune at 0 degrees Aries. This is such a powerful placement. 0 degrees Aries is called Aries point, and it is activated so many times in 2025 and several times in March. That's where Aries and April, March and April, because Neptune conjuncted 0 Aries at 30 degrees, excuse me, March 30th. And then in April, like I said, Mercury goes over it where it conjuncts Neptune at 0 degrees Aries. Then May, Venus is 0 degrees Aries as well as Saturn. So March, April, and May, and Aries point is like I said, it's the beginning of everything. It's the beginning of the zodiacal year, and it's about giving birth. The Sabian symbol for this degree is a woman has risen out of the sea. A seal is embracing her. This says to me the emergence out of the realm of potentiality into the realm of reality. This is the beginning of a whole new impulse, creative and responsive. And the I am consciousness, which is a statement of self-awareness and a fundamental state of being which exists beyond the limitations of the ego and external circumstances. A recognition of one's inherent presence and a connection to a deeper, unchanging reality. And I feel like the Neptune in Aries is, Neptune has not been in Aries for since what is it, like 1861, a very long time. And no one alive has experienced Neptune in Aries before, but it really is about the birth of a new consciousness, especially here at 0 point, because Neptune is so much about consciousness. So it's the birth of a new consciousness of self-awareness, which lead us into new frontiers of consciousness growth. It's like we're in the birth process, but we're crowning. We can see the light, but we're not really through the birth canal yet. We're just kind of there, um, because the birth process is a long process. And as we do, we become aware of the true reality behind the illusion as the veil falls and the fog lifts, and that we are entering a gateway or portal into a new reality. The 3D reality is the dream, but the new reality of the fifth dimension is an awakening within the dream. As we awaken within our experience here in the 3D reality, awakening to the truth of our own divinity. That's what it's about. We have forgotten, but like I said, the veil of forgetfulness is lifting. And that is part of the fifth dimensional reality is beings who are living in that uh, level of consciousness remember that they've never left the source of all creation. And White Eagle says to say this prayer to ourselves every day. God is in me. Divine light floods and fills every atom of my being. And to remember that you are not separate from God, you are God experiencing itself. This is the awakening, and this is the ascension. All right. All right. Wishing you all a wonderful full moon. Hopefully, you'll be able to enjoy it in a really wonderful way. And wishing you all blessings. If you're interested in a reading, um, All my information is in the description box below. And if you like this video, please check like and subscribe. All right. Blessings to all and namaste.